Why Pakistan has always been declaring victory or minimizing its defeat when it comes to India.
अफवाज पाकिस्तान की कामयाबी के साथ साथ पूरी पाकिस्तानी कौम की फतह है।
कारगिल मैं एज एन आर्मी चीफ गर्दन से पकड़ लिया था।
70% बिजली का निजाम हैक कर लिया आपने।
हम कितने टेक्नोलॉजी में एडवांस है हमें नहीं पता।
Are there any concrete facts around it? And how India has been standing strong with the real life and real time evidences against these bogus claims? 26 July is the reminder of the day when India went ahead and fought one of the most difficult wars that any country could have fought and came out winning. I'm talking about Kargil War, and today we are celebrating Kargil Vijay Divas. As India has been consistent in its fight against Pakistan, so has been Pakistan very consistent in minimizing its defeat and claiming victory in all the confrontations and war it has stood against India. What is the reason behind it? Why Pakistan goes ahead and claims victory in all the scenarios? And is there any real ground to all these claims? Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and today we are going to understand the big fat lie of the war stories that comes from Pakistan's end on the special day where India stood tall to protect its sovereignty, its interest and its people. Starting with the first very war that happened just after the partition in 1947. This war was just after when both of these countries got independence and Pakistan did what it always had done and entered through our region. This is where Pakistan was grounded not just by one, two, multiple ways, but still till this date, Pakistan goes ahead and claims that it had a moral victory in this war. What are the reasons behind it? Why is Pakistan thinking that it was a moral victory? They have some solid claims here. What are those claims? So when we talk about these claims, for this particular war, the reason Pakistan claims moral victory is the fact that it was able to enter and secure some regions of the whole Kashmir. Even though this region clearly does not belong to them, in their heads they have this very clear idea that they were able to take up some portion of a Muslim majority state which should have ideally gone with Pakistan. So their idea remains embedded in the fact that they were able to take away 1/3 portion of the Indian territory which should have ideally been with them. Another reason that goes with the moral victory part is the fact that they were siding with the agitated Muslims who wanted to come with Pakistan, and there was no invasion as such, rather they were supporting the cause of Muslims in the Kashmir region who wanted to come together with Pakistan. That's not all. They also believe the fact that they were able to secure a major portion, and given that they were a newborn nation, they had strategically put down India at that very given time. All these regions align with their storytelling of the moral victory, but now I would like to highlight that what makes it a bogus claim. So when we talk about this particular 1947 war, we have to understand the invasion that came from Pakistan, it was absolutely illegal. Why illegal? Because Maharaja Hari Singh had already ceded to India and the instrument of accession was signed on October 26 itself. Now, once October 26, 1947 instrument of accession is signed, that means the state lies with, especially the three major important things, be it defense, be it communication, lies with the central government. And Jammu and Kashmir had decided, and Maharaja Hari Singh had signed this particular instrument of accession. So Pakistan entering when the instrument of accession is signed makes it absolutely illegal. If that's not all, there has to be understood the fact that India till date is the one who has a claim over whole of the Kashmir, and the region beyond LOC, the line of control was drawn through UN resolution, and Pakistan was ousted. Its army was ousted through the UNSC resolution 49. So you have to understand, it was not just India that is telling that it is an illegal claim, but as well as UN, which clearly highlighted the fact that these were the invaders in our territory and they were ousted from that region. Apart from that, we also have to understand about the real evidence that later came to light, that initially it was said that it was the terrorist groups or the militias which were involved. But later evidences were found that Pakistani army regulars were part of this invasion, and this evidence was also presented to the UN, which later went ahead and brought in the ceasefire and line of control was drawn, which Pakistan has violated multiple times. Another factor that you should know right here is the fact that India was able to go against the whole idea of Pakistan annexing the whole state under the image of having the moral responsibility to take in the Muslim state. Now, when we talk about the reasons based on which Pakistan makes these tall claims, they are very simple. Pakistan believes that the attack by India was absolutely unprovoked, and what they did was just repelling that unprovoked attack. Second, they believe that they were able to defend successfully, which is absolutely wrong. Why it is wrong, we will be discussing that. And third factor that comes in here is national unity and resilience. Pakistan wanted to show that a small nation was able to stand together and repel the unprovoked act that is coming from a bigger country like India. But then again, I would like to bring the real facts to you here, that there was no such scenario. The first thing that you need to know, that it was not an unprovoked act, just like Operation Sindoor. So what happened back then, it was Operation Gibraltar that came from Pakistan's end and tried to harm India's end, and that is when India retaliated. Apart from that, if we talk about defeat, Pakistan's attempt to capture Akhnur and totally cut off the Kashmir area was absolutely fended off by India, and India was again successful. If we talk about territorial gains, you will be able to see that the area occupied by India was almost 2,000 square kilometers, but when we talk about area occupied by Pakistan, merely stood somewhere around 500 square kilometers. The territorial gains of India was higher. Even if we want to look at certain defense success that happened at the end of Pakistan Air Force, like Operation Dwarka, that was the only defense part that they were able to defend their own area. Apart from that, India had such a success in this that there was a 3-front circumference around Lahore, and India had good access to areas like Sialkot, Lahore. There was battle of tanks in Chivanda, and this battle of tanks is till date known for the fact that multiple enemy losses were seen at the end of Pakistan, and multiple neutral international sources also clearly highlight that how India, even after such territorial gains, even after heavy enemy losses at the front of Pakistan, was standing strong. Now, these are the two wars where Pakistan has strategically shifted the picture to how that they have been a small nation, they have been able to protect that is something that they can do in their own country. But if we talk about the open order, that is something they cannot prevent. And these are the facts that we should also know about. Now moving to the third confrontation in front of us, that is 1971 India-Pakistan War. This time Pakistan went ahead and clearly said that this was an internal matter. Whatever India did or did not, it has not been going to count as a defeat. Why it will not be counted as a defeat? You were sitting there signing papers where you had to accept your defeat. Even after that, Pakistan has the audacity to go ahead and say that it was just an internal issue, and they have also said initially that it was a victory. But what was failure? It was just a political failure. So this is something that Pakistan keeps on doing in order to manage their image, paint a different picture, maybe in front of the global order, maybe in front of their public. But let us talk about these claims again. So when we talk about the 1971 war, when we are talking, so definitely it was an issue between East Pakistan and West Pakistan, where East Pakistan was not getting the due importance required, even though when it was contributing significantly when we are talking about economic terms. When the agitations began in now Bangladesh, Pakistan highlighted this as an internal matter, and it said that India was the one who is instigating these agitations in East Pakistan. And based on that, it had already launched attack on India on the western front. If we talk about Operation Searchlight, if we talk about Operation Chengiz Khan, these are the moments when Pakistan went ahead and brought India into this very matter, where it did not remain an internal matter, and India would definitely retaliate back to protect its own interest, even though it was majorly centric towards Bangladesh. If we talk about the liberation of Bangladesh, then again, even after facing the defeat right in front of the camera and signing the papers, Pakistan still says that it was just a political failure. It was a movement by India to dismember the country, and it stands by that claim till date. But if I present you the actual facts of that particular scenario, you have to understand in here some important key points, some important actual footage, actual proof that we have. The first one, when we talk about unconditional surrender. Unconditional surrender is the direct proof of the fact that no matter what they want to paint it like, it was an agitation which led to the birth of a new country, which was immediately recognized by multiple other countries. That directly cements the claim of Pakistan, which said India is trying to dismember the country. Other than that, if we talk about the second factor, India was able to show absolute exceptional air and naval capability on the eastern front, which led to the birth of Bangladesh, which it is credited for till date, and it was able to facilitate this movement in Pakistan. But again, the confrontation was not because India was involved in this war, it was because it was dragged in this war, and again it won, and it was able to facilitate a neighbor country to grow into a blooming flower. Now coming to the war of 1999, Kargil War. When we talk about this day, we always remember that how India fought at the height of 17,000 feet, where it is difficult to even survive, and came out winning at that condition. Even that particular defeat by Pakistan is not digestible till date, and they directly claim that Pakistan army was not involved. It was Mujahideen that was carrying out the attacks which happened in here. We all know the story of Kargil War, how even after extending the hand of friendship, we got nothing back in it, and it was again Pakistan army which came in and took up the major posts when we are talking about through invasion. But you have to understand two reasons why Pakistan claims that it was Mujahideen. First, it directly denies the fact that there was no Pakistani army involved. Second, it says that there was again agitation in Kashmir, and that is why this Kashmir dispute needs to be highlighted. It has nothing to do with military aggression. But now let us talk about real facts of the Kargil War. First, intercepted communication directly between Chief of Army Staff and General Pervez Musharraf, where he was detailing out the direct attack which happened from Pakistan's end. Then, prisoners of war and identification of bodies. When it was done later, multiple Pakistani army regulars were found. Third, the logistics support. If you look at the scale of infiltration that was done in Kargil War, you will be able to understand the ammunition required, the support required was coming from a larger scale, which was definitely directing us towards Pakistan army. And then India, after 25 years, also got the evidence where Chief of Army Asim Munir accepted that Pakistani army soldiers laid their lives in Kargil War, and finally it was accepted from the end of Pakistan that Pakistani army was involved. But back at that time, it was because of extreme international pressure, including US, on Pakistan based on evidence to accept the fact that Pakistani army was involved. But General Pervez Musharraf, during his living time, never accepted such a thing. And final stone that lays every claim of Pakistan to rest is the Operation Vijay itself, on behalf of which we are celebrating Kargil Vijay Divas today, that Indian army was able to successfully reclaim all the top posts, including when we are talking about Kargil, Batal, Toling and Dras. You have to understand that India had captured successfully all these high posts on this very day, that is 26 July. So all of this clearly shows the fact that Pakistan, no matter what the time is, no matter what the climate is, no matter what the global order looks like, Pakistan has been very consistent in its agenda when we are talking about spreading rumors, spreading misinformation and making up war stories, which shows them they have been winning. And this was again repeated when we are talking about India-Pakistan confrontation that we saw in recent time of 2025. India went ahead and clearly showed their power muscle where they can actually target the terror camps without harming the civilians. India went ahead and showed what muscle it carries when it comes to counter-terrorism, be it state-sponsored one itself. But Pakistan yet again claims victory. Even when we talk about ceasefire itself, it was asked from Pakistan's end. And we know that through the official communications that have been given out. Why Pakistan has been claiming victory in the visible defeat that we are talking about? The first thing, that it was slightly able to defend its certain regions. But that myth has been clearly bunked by the videos which were uploaded from their end, where two of the videos, one of them came from a game simulation video, another one came from the older wars video, where Pakistan was trying to spread misinformation. India played very strong on the strengths and clear communication, not just with their public, but with the international order as well. Here, Pakistan wanted to paint India as reckless, where India clearly went out and highlighted that in Operation Sindoor, only terrorist camps were targeted. If we talk about another proof that will bunk Pakistan claims, is the clear fact when Pakistan was trying to retaliate and violating ceasefire left, right and center, India showed its defense capabilities where none of the air strikes by Pakistan were successful. And I don't know at what world Pakistan still thinks that it was a major win for them. In conclusion, I would just like to say that Pakistan's consistent declaration of victory, even in the face of defeat or a stalemate situation, is just a strategic tool. What for? Domestic stability maybe, international narrative control maybe, military prestige maybe, but it is not working out for them. It is time that they wake up and face the reality that lies in front of us. They have always used carefully curated narratives, selective evidence, selective memory, and even outright denial of evidences. Whereas India has always stuck to the real core evidences in front of us, actual narratives, and proper information dissemination. This actually what highlights that what kind of nation that India is and India looks forward to be, where India has been very clear about controlling its own sovereignty in the real terms and countering terrorism beyond borders if it comes to harm us in the homeland itself. Now that was all from my side. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.